Okay, so hey, to start things off, you guys, what do we know about the Islamic Empire? When did it start?
Hold on.
570.
Well, Muhammad was born in 570, so that's actually our first date we got to know. 570 to 632, that's Muhammad, correct?
Yeah.
So we're going to do the periodizations here first. So who came after Muhammad? The Rashidun.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say they're radical, but the Rashidun, okay? So after Muhammad's death, he left an empire without a successor. And so these guys were called the four rightly guided caliphs. And they ruled from 632 till 661. Okay? So after the Rashidun, the Umayyads. And the Umayyads, they ruled from 661 till 750. And then who came after? The early Abbasids. The early Abbasid Caliph. Okay? And that went from 750 till 945. And then after the early Abbasids, you then got these Umayyads. So the Umayyads are basically in Spain. Okay? So think about that when we get to Charlemagne. Remember his great... It's his grandpa, actually. Charles the Great. Charles Martel. Anyway, so he's the hammer. Anyways, he's the one that defeats them in the Battle of Tours. And then to finish off the Islamic periodization, we got the latter Abbasid Caliphate, which then goes from 945, I believe, till, I think he has 1260. 1258, sorry. He asked for 1260, though, but whatever. Okay, so this is my comedy here. Muhammad Ali, okay? So don't get confused, Muhammad Ali and Muhammad. This is like a little bit of learned helplessness where I'm teaching you something wrong, but I'm hoping it will stick in your mind about Muhammad, okay?
Negative transfer.
Negative transfer, there it is. So, yes, Muhammad is not Muhammad Ali, but he did practice Islam, okay? So, Muhammad, 570 to 632, okay? So what's the first important date with Muhammad?
Over 70.
570 to 632. What comes after that? What happens in 610?
The vision. Oh.
Yeah, this is the ID term we're going to be doing.
Power.
So in 610 you have the Night of Power, right? So Muhammad as a child, he was born, he was orphaned, and then, I mean, like, he was illiterate. Yeah, he was illiterate. Couldn't write, couldn't read. Kind of says a lot about the guy and his prophecies afterwards, his revelations. And then in 610, he was kind of confused about religion, as Dr. Yost taught you guys. And he went into a cave, and then the angel Gabriel appeared to him and said that there is no God but Allah. Okay, so that's essential to know. No God but Allah. That's what he preached, and that he was told to go preach afterwards. Anyways, so before this, he'd married a woman named Khadija. I can't say her name. It's like Khadija. Anyways, so Khadija was a wealthy merchant. Anyways, and she kind of gave him his backing, and it was basically his first convert. And in 619, Khadija dies, and so does Abu Talib. And Abu Talib was Muhammad's basically adopted father. Okay, he's his uncle, but he adopts him, he takes him in, and he protects him. So when these two die, Khadija and Abu Talib in 619, that's when the persecution of Muhammad begins. Okay, so Muhammad starts to be seriously persecuted in 619. So then what's the next important date after 619? What can you guys think? What do they do? What does Muhammad... They leave. What's that called? The pilgrimage is different. Hijra. It's the flight, okay? So in 622, the Hijra, that's the flight, okay? That's when they flee Mecca to get away from persecution. And where do they go?
Medina.
They go to Medina, exactly. Actually, Medina used to be called Yathrib, but then they changed it to Medina, which literally means the city of the Prophet. Okay? And then after 622, what happens next? What happens in 630?
He returns to Mecca.
He returns to Mecca.
Yeah.
Okay? So in 630, he returns to Mecca, and He basically goes in and he abolishes all the polytheistic religions and establishes Islam as the one and only religion, right? And then I guess another important thing for you guys to remember about Muhammad is that he didn't create a religion. That's what you need to remember. He believed that his religion of Islam, that Allah's religion, El's religion, was the same religion that was given to Abraham. All right? But instead of the lineage of Isaac, it's the lineage of Ibrahim. Ibrahim. Oh man, I hope I don't have that mixed up right now.
Wait, is it
Abraham.
is
Isaac.
it Jacob Esau?
No, Jacob and Esau are brothers.
Yeah.
Ishmael, thank you. Ishmael. Yeah, it's Ishmael.
Okay.
I believe. I better.
It is Ishmael.
It's Ishmael, thank you. Yeah, Ismail. I was trying to think Ibrahim, Ismail. Okay. So yeah, he believed that it was just a lineage through Ismail instead of the Jacob and Isaac. Okay, got that? Okay. Okay, so what happens in 632? He dies. So in 6, and I did not put that on there. But he dies in 632, okay? So that's the end of Muhammad. And what happens after his death? The Rashidun, right? The Rashidun, and what does Rashidun mean? The four rightly guided caliphs, okay? So before we get to that, during Muhammad's life, he taught about 5 pillars. What are the 5 pillars?
Creed, prayer, fasting, pilgrimage, and
Almsgiving and the creed.
Okay, so you got the creed, which is there is no God but Allah, and his prophet is Muhammad. Okay, so that's the creed. And then you have the prayer, where they have to give at least 5 times a day. Any devout Muslim will give the prayer 5 times a day. And then you have fasting. Yeah, fasting, that's great. It's crazy. I served my mission in Africa, in Mozambique, and when it's the fast, they literally go 40 days without eating from sunrise to sunset. So it's pretty cool. So they eat early in the morning and they eat late at night. But from sunrise to sunset for 40 straight days, they don't eat.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then you have the pilgrimage. And what's the pilgrimage?
Going to
visit Mecca
Mecca.
once in your life.
Yeah, you have to make the trip to Mecca at least once in your life to actually touch the, what's it called? It's the cube, but Kaaba, to touch the Kaaba. You have to go to Mecca at least once in your life and touch the Kaaba. And this can actually, you can actually do it kind of by proxy, okay? You can actually have someone else go in your stead, as long as he's part of your family kind of thing. And then the pilgrimage you have to do, and then almsgiving. This is just being a devout Muslim, okay? So those are the 5 things he established, and with his death came the Rashidun. I like this picture. So this is interesting. They never will put Muhammad's face on anything. That's just because you can't draw Muhammad. Actually, it was just like a couple months ago, there was a comic drawn in the Middle East with Muhammad's face, and the guy is in serious trouble right now that drew it. He had to apologize publicly, and it was all headlines in the Middle East. You can't draw Muhammad. Okay, so the Rashidun. So the Rashidun went from 632 to 661. Does anyone know who it started with? Abu Bakr, okay? So Abu Bakr is the first, 4 rightly guided caliphs. So Abu Bakr was the first, and then the one that followed him was Umar. And you remember how he talked about they discouraged conversion to Islam? The Umayyads did, correct? That's because of Umar, okay? Umar actually, he created this thing called the Pact of Umar, which actually discouraged Islamic converts, because they wanted people to continue paying a tax called the jizya tax, okay? And then Uthman, he's the one who comprised or put together the Quran, all the revelations given by Muhammad. And then Ali, he actually marries the daughter of Muhammad, Fatima. Okay, and so Ali was actually killed in 661 by the Umayyads, and I don't think I have anything else, but the Umayyads, they then take over the caliphate. They established their kingdom in Damascus. He went over all this in class, did he not? Okay, so they established their kingdom in Damascus, and then they ended in 750 after a revolt because they weren't letting converted Persian, Malawi people to become fully Islamic, and because they weren't allowing this conversion, or because they were forcing them to still pay this jizya tax, they revolted, and in 750 they established the Abbasid Caliphate, which then built their city in Baghdad and established the House of Wisdom.